Mrs. Creerand. We are not ready for video. No. Hi, I'm Mrs. Creerand, and I taught each of these 8th graders last year in 7th grade as their humanities teacher. I'm very excited to announce the next round of our 8th grade informational speeches for the class of 2024. This year, 8th graders were challenged to think about who they are inspired by, what they are passionate about or what they believe, what they want to pursue or explore as they move on from Swain, and what most valuable lessons they learned from their time at Swain. So, you are all going to hear about some really unique and engaging speeches. We are all so proud of each of our speakers today. On a housekeeping note, if we have enough time at the end, we will ask each of our presenters to come back up to have a little short Q&A. Our first presentation is titled Shoot Your Shot by Frankie Meyer.
The most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to do. Kobe Bryant. I'd like for you all to think about someone or something that inspires you. Realize what they have done or how they've treated you, or a situation that made you truly inspired by that person or thing. That's how these people and this sport make me feel. Hi, I'm Frankie, and my inspiration speech is about 2 people and 1 sport that inspire me. Although there are lots of people in my life that inspire me, I chose the 2 most dominant. Mr. L is an amazing teacher and soccer coach who always makes sure to push everyone so they perform their best and push past their own limits. He has inspired me to be a better version of myself, not just as an athlete, but as a person too. One of my favorite qualities about Mr. L is that he has the ability to cheer anyone up even if they're in the worst mood. Although I've only known Mr. L for the 2 years I've been at Swain, I've gotten to know him a lot better because of soccer, which serves as a plus when I openly say I'm his favorite, even if I'm not. Every morning, I always make sure to greet him with a smile, no matter what, although one day I called him Mr. H a couple of times. Mr. L is a phenomenal soccer coach. He always makes sure to push me to perform my best, even if I don't believe in myself. He knows what I'm capable of and knows how to react when I get upset because I know I could have performed better, made a better pass, or ran quicker. While playing soccer this past season, I got hurt quite a bit, including hyperextending my knee, falling numerous times, and getting hit in the thigh with cleats. Every time I came off the field feeling annoyed or upset, he would always make sure I was okay no matter what, and always comforted me. He encouraged me to play my best, and if I'm upset, use that emotion to show the opponent that I don't get pushed around, even with a hyperextended knee. Soccer has been my favorite sport since I was in 2nd grade. When I played it for the first time with the older kids, I was about 7 or 8. Okay. I remember when I played, although I flat out sucked, I always felt super cool because I was playing with the older kids. That memory has stuck with me for 6 years and has made me want to prove to my younger self that I can be better than I was. After I had played soccer for a little while when I was younger, I realized I had a strong passion for it, and I really wanted to go pro. I wanted to play soccer for most of my life, and I've known that forever. No matter what, even if I'm tired during a game, I've always pushed myself harder and harder so I can reach my goal because I know I can if I just try hard enough. Mr. L is not only an incredible soccer coach, but an incredible person and teacher too. I'm really going to miss him being my soccer coach and having him on the sidelines cheering everyone on. My second inspiration is my mom, Christine. My mom has always encouraged me to do my best, even if it's not everyone else's best, and always try my hardest no matter what. My mom is a life coach. She helps people figure out their issues for a living. So when I need advice on either relationships, friends, or even teachers, I know she's always there for me, which has also played a significant role in my life in sports. She has always encouraged me to play any sport I'm interested in, even if it's the most expensive sport I've played. And it's all because she wants me to have fun. When my mom was in high school, she played basketball. She absolutely loved it and would have played all throughout college if she had been given the opportunity. Although my mom's high school coach didn't like some techniques she had, including chucking the ball across the court at the basket in the last 2 seconds, he thought that it was really crazy and really stupid, but whatever. She surprisingly made a few baskets with it, so he couldn't have been too mad. This has taught me to always shoot my shot. My mom has always gone for what she wanted, even if it wasn't what other people thought that she should do or it wasn't perfect enough for them. She has made her own path and made her own decisions regardless of what people thought or said about her. Having been brought up that way, it has taught me to always choose what I think is best, even if nobody else thinks it works. It's really easier said than done. But with the example of Mr. L and my mom, I'm able to achieve whatever I want and strive for my own definition of excellence. Like I mentioned before, I've wanted to play soccer since I was about 7 or 8, and I currently still want to play all throughout high school and college and hopefully go pro. So far, I've played for numerous different club teams along with 2 different school teams. and most recently just gone into my newest club team, which I'm hoping will push me to do my best and encourage others to do the same. Because I've played for multiple different teams, whether it's a club team or a school team, I always get challenged, either socially or physically, which has taught me that nobody's perfect, and nor is anybody always going to be the best. Everyone has their ups and downs, and that's okay. As I end my speech, I ask you all again to think about that one person or thing that inspires you. Keep that image in your head whenever you're feeling down. Picture that person or thing to keep you going. Remember to never give up. Push yourself to your limit. Your limit is not defined by others. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Frankie. Our next presentation is titled The Sacrifice for Success by Maya Estrada. Thank you, Maya.
Hello, my name is Maya Estrada, and the title of my speech is The Sacrifice for Success. If you're going to be somebody, you need to be a leader, not a follower. Be strong-minded. The impossible is always possible. Selena Quintanilla. Success doesn't come handed to you. Along the way, there are challenges that seem impossible, but there is always a way to overcome them. Success is the product of hard work and motivation. When you're younger, life seems very simple. But over time, as you get older, you realize that there is more to life than sports, friends, and shopping. You realize that you have to start building a foundation for your future, and that sounds super easy until you think about all the factors. There are always going to be obstacles that we have to overcome. Things aren't always going to go as planned, and you aren't always going to get what you want. Not everything is going to be handed to you, and if you want something badly enough, you have to work hard for it. Selena Quintanilla was born to Mexican immigrant parents in Texas. She learned to speak Spanish at an older age in her life, but used this to become one of the most influential singers of the 90s. After her family went bankrupt, she became the lead singer of her family's band at the age of 9, and that is how her success in music began. Selena knew what she was passionate about, and she worked hard to accomplish her dream. Despite all of the challenges along the way, she persisted through them to do what she loved. Along her path to success, both her and her family had to make sacrifices. She dropped out of school after the 8th grade, and lots of her and her family's time was dedicated to traveling for performances. She won her first Grammy in 1994 for Best Mexican American Album, and even after her death, her music continues to win awards. Her success is the product of hard work and sacrifice. Along the way, she had support from both of her parents. I would like to thank my parents for all the sacrifices that they've made for my sisters and I. They work extremely hard to make sure that I have the life that they couldn't. My father came from Mexico to the US as a teenager alone in the 90s. He was unable to attend high school because his family couldn't afford it, so he ended up coming to Pennsylvania to find work and provide for his family back at home. He came here with nothing and spoke no English except for, "Can I have the number 1?" during the occasional drive-through visit. He gained a citizenship and built a successful life. I'm constantly asking him what he was thinking when he chose to come to Pennsylvania, but he never seems to have an answer other than, "If I didn't choose this, you wouldn't be alive, you clown." My dad planned to return to Mexico until he met my mom. My mom was born in Pennsylvania and raised in foster care as a child. Throughout her childhood, she had many responsibilities, such as taking care of her little brothers or working numerous jobs. She never got the full childhood experience, but does her best to make sure that my sisters and I do. She was emancipated at the age of 16 and struggled to obtain an education due to being raised in the Mennonite community. She graduated college and is now a nurse. She is also a realtor who finds distressed homes for my dad to fix. My parents met each other while working at a diner, and they've been tolerating each other for the past 25 years. Even though we don't always agree on everything, I'm grateful for everything that they have done for me, and I will work hard to one day repay them for that. They support all of my decisions, even when they aren't very smart, and raise me to be independent. They have encouraged me through all of my challenges when I haven't believed in myself and wanted to give up. They taught me that above all, education is the most important thing, and they are doing everything possible to make sure that I get the best education because they didn't have that opportunity. You can accomplish anything with the right mindset and motivation. We all have a dream that may seem impossible, but if you are passionate, you will do whatever it takes to achieve it, even when there are people who discourage you. We shouldn't take certain things for granted and give up easily. As I end my speech, I want you to think of someone who you would like to thank for making you the person you are, who made sacrifices so that you could have success. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Our next presenter is Alex Garrett with her speech titled Invisible Jobs.
The invisible jobs. Hi, I'm Alex Garrett, and I'm here to talk to you today about my inspirations and how they've affected what I want to pursue. Never regret a day in your life. Good days bring you happiness, and bad days bring you experience. This quote is definitely easier said than done, but having the right people surrounding you can make you feel secure even in the worst of times. For me, those people are my mom, whose name is Rachel Akers, and nurse Sprint Jar. Rachel hasn't always been my mom. She stepped in as my mom when I was 8 because my biological mom had passed away. My dad and Rachel ended up getting married and had a child of their own as an addition to his 3 daughters and her 3 sons. I chose my mom as one of my inspirations because every day I wake up and wonder how she does it all. She could do pretty much anything because she is and was a baker, chef, veterinarian, jeweler, artist, landscaper, landlord, and business owner, and a mom of 7 children. Another thing that is inspiring about her is she always puts others first and will do anything in her power to help make others' lives easier. I remember when she and my dad had gotten married. She spent the entire night making sure that she talked to every single person that attended at least once because she didn't want anyone to feel left out. After this, she then cleaned up every single decoration that same night because she didn't want to leave a mess for others to clean up. To this day, she still hasn't gone on her honeymoon because she knows that we, her children, need her, and she wants to make sure that she's always there for us. This may seem like a small thing, but she is more hardworking, caring, and conscientious than anyone else I know. The second person that inspires me is Nurse Sprint Jar. She deserves all of the appreciation she already receives and more. When I go to see her, I know that she's always going to be someone who can make me laugh no matter how sick I'm feeling. She's someone who could tell me really captivating stories, and most importantly, she's someone that I could tell anything to without receiving judgment, no matter how good or bad her day is going. Another thing that I admire about her is her passion to make sure that everyone feels included and equal. She once told me about a story named Matt. He had a congenital defect that caused his eyes to look half closed, and he had a higher pitched voice. Because of his eyes being half closed, he had to tilt his head back whenever he wanted to look at anything. These things caused him to get bullied, and one day people from her friend group were bullying him. She told them that the only reason they felt the need to bully him was to make themselves feel better. The bullies then became embarrassed, and her and Matt are still friends to this day. This is only one example of her kindness, and it would take years to talk about everything that she's done to support her community. Both my mom and Nurse Springer have inspired me and helped me figure out what I want to pursue. But especially my mom has helped me discover what I'm interested in and how to turn that into a subject or job, such as psychology. She realized in our conversations together that I was talking and wondering about why people do the things they do whenever I'd finish a murder mystery book. I remember in one of our talks, she told me that I'd probably like to research more into the psychology behind what happens in the brain when they do commit something as horrific as murder, which I'd never thought to do before, but I soon realized after that she was exactly right. Part of the reason that I read so many mysteries is for seeing how the different people rationalize reasons for what they have done. When I finished researching more about it, I started to shape the classes I want to take in high school around this discovery, and am planning on pursuing it as I enter high school and beyond. Throughout my time at Swain, I remember thinking about how difficult it would be to find someone that inspired me. But once we started the project, I realized I had the opposite problem. There were too many people. But once I really thought about it, I realized that the answers seemed obvious. Nurse Springer and my mom are both in my day-to-day life, and they have both changed my life for the better. I'll be forever grateful to have met such inspiring people. As I leave, I have a quote I found that I want you to think about. Make it a habit to tell people thank you, to express your appreciation sincerely and without the expectation of anything in return. Truly appreciate those around you, and you'll soon find many others around you. Truly appreciate life, and you'll find that you have more of it. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Our last presentation today is titled Little Sister, Big Inspiration by Peyton Pullen.
Having fun is not a diversion from having a successful life. It is the pathway to it. Martha N. Beck. We have all met someone who is so sucked into work, not having any time for fun. But sometimes all you need is a person to distract you and make you focus on having some fun in your life. Hi, my name is Peyton, and in an article from NPR.org called How to Have More Fun, they asked many adults the question, when was the last time you flew too high on a swing and lost your stomach, or busted out laughing so hard that you started crying? They followed that up by saying, if it's been a while since you've had this kind of fun, you're not alone. That same article gave tips on how to have fun once in a while. One of those is to unplug. To them, that means unplugging your devices. To me, unplug means to unplug from the world and not focus on what others are doing or thinking. That brings me to the focus of this project, the person who taught me and inspired me to believe in being in the moment and how to have fun, my sister, Juliet. Most people say that an inspiration has to be someone older than you, who's wiser and has more experience with the world, but I beg to differ. And while I do have many inspirations that are older than me, such as my mom, dad, friends, and all the typical first thoughts when asked to think of an inspiration, I chose to think of someone younger, because you can find inspiration in the least expected people and places. One day in 3rd grade, I got called down to the office. I had no clue what was happening. My grandma rushed me to the hospital, and after 5 long hours, which included 9-year-old me being annoying and impatient, she was born, my little sister Juliet. And I'll forever be grateful because she's taught me many lessons that I will take forward in my life. The first thing she taught me was responsibility. 2 of the biggest responsibilities in life, according to many different opinions, are family and kids. Taking care of a teething baby or a destructive toddler is one of the hardest jobs as a parent, but I would say it's even harder as a sibling because everything you do, they do the same. They look up to you and you are their inspiration. Being their inspiration is such a great responsibility, but you're also responsible for their safety just as much as any parent is for their kid. Being her sister has taught me how to be responsible and take care of a little child, whether they're running through the house breaking everything or sitting quietly reading a book. The second reason she's an inspiration to me is because she has taught me to be the bigger person. Anyone with a sibling will know that they can get pretty annoying at some points. But having a sibling who's 9 years apart from you and in a grade that you were in 10 years ago is definitely an interesting experience. As a teenager, there are times where I just want to be in my room, alone, and away from everyone else. And she'll come stomping into my room, flop down on my bed, and hit me. Just randomly hit me, like a normal toddler would do when they're angry, except this time there's absolutely no reason. Sometimes it's because I was breathing too loud, or maybe it was because I said hi, but there's never really a good reason. At those times, I've learned to just let it happen and ignore it. But there's other times where heavy books will get thrown at my head, or I'll get chased down the hall with scissors. And those are the times where I really have to hold myself back and not fight back. She inspired me to hold back because honestly, I hate seeing her cry. And because of what she's taught me, I do better at being the bigger person in the actual world. The third and final reason is because she has taught me to not take life so seriously and focus on having a little fun in life. There have been times where I've been completely sucked into my work, trying to finish it on time. For example, writing this speech or a random book project in 5th grade that I waited until the last minute to start, where I wanted nothing to do with anyone. She didn't care. At that time in 5th grade, I was convinced that all she wanted to do was see me fail. But I didn't quite realize that she couldn't even understand what that meant. Even while I was writing the speech, she kept bugging me, asking me to play Legos or watch Trolls with her for the 50th time. Having a little fun in life is good for your mental health and loving your life. The lessons that my sister have taught me are lessons that I'll never forget, and they are lessons that will forever stick with me. If you ever wonder who or what your inspiration could be, ask yourself this: who won't judge me, and can I be myself around them? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Can I please have all the presenters come back up to the front? We do have a few minutes to take questions from the audience. We would like questions for each one of our speakers if possible, or a general question for anyone to answer. So if you have something you'd like to ask them about their speeches or their inspiration, please raise your hand. Go ahead, teacher voice.
So Kate, when do you think you turned from maybe being annoyed at having a little sister to feeling like maybe she's teaching you and you're learning from her?
Probably when there's one day where she's actually being genuinely nice to me, and we're actually getting along, and that's when I realized oh, okay.
So yesterday we heard a little bit about the speech writing process. Can you talk about the part of this that the time that you put in to get ready for the actual speech, like being up in front of people? You all did a really good job, by the way. I just want them to sort of hear what went into being ready to be up in front of this many people and give a really good presentation.
Maybe each person can say a little bit about their process.
So we went through multiple drafts, and then Miss Coffee had us find pictures that matched up with our speech, and then we've been working on them a lot in drama class to practice vocal color and stuff.
You all came down earlier today too. You all went a run through, standing at the actual mic, right, in front with each other as an audience, that sort of thing too, right? You all did a very good job.
How hard was it to pick just two people or subjects? Was it easy, or was it hard to pick two? Any of you?
For me, it was kind of hard because it took me a while to come up with who inspired me. But once I figured it out, it was a lot easier to write the speech.
I have a question. So each of you who have seen inspiration speeches before may have kind of had this project in your head. So I'm curious if this was something that you've been thinking about for a while, or if you really only focused on it when the speech was assigned to you.
So basically, I've had a lot of thought about it, even though I've only been at Swain since last year, but I've thought about it constantly on who I wanted it to be on, what I've wanted to do, and it kind of just came to me one day that I wanted to do my mom and do Mr. L because they've impacted my life a lot and really inspired me to be the person who I am today.
Anybody else? How about one more? Yeah. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, so I've been here this is my 8th year here, and I've kind of always known that I've wanted to do Rachel, and just recently this year, I've been talking to Nurse Sprinjar more, and then it kind of seemed obvious when I was thinking about who to do.
Do you have any more questions? I think we have a couple, one more minute. Okay. Do you have any advice for the people who are still going to talk about their topic and their inspirations this year? Maya, Peyton?
Remember to move your slides.
And I'd say to just practice as much as you can.
Presenting is really not as bad as you think.
All right, thank you. Let's give one more hand to our speakers today. You're going to dismiss?